Morning at NTV. We're still live from Kampala's Rennet Conference Center. Mandru Chamagero Montuawansi here with a Joshua Kandwanaho, Israel, contesting for the Western Youth Member of Parliament. And here in Kampala Central, we have a Simon Senyonga equally competing for the Simon. Before we went for the break, you wanted to elaborate more about the electoral colleges.
Well, I just want to respond to what my colleague was saying. Number one, electoral colleges, as he rightly said, are not the most efficient ways for us to elect youth leaders. You see, the argument on ground when you interact with the young people in the electoral colleges is that the entry point to get to the village level was extremely competitive. They invested a lot of money at the village level, they went to the parish level, they went to the sub-county level. Now, the only way they can be able to get back that money is through the youth members of parliament who are coming to seek for their support. Now, number two, electoral colleges don't represent the real ideas of what the young people
What could be the best
for.
approach here?
Number one, I think, let us divide it into sub-regional levels. Say in Buganda, where I represent, you know, you have Greater Masaka, Greater Mukono, Greater Kampala, Greater Mpigi, all these parts. Let each of these come up with an adult suffrage system to elect at a sub-regional level. Now, the people who are against this approach, the argument is that we don't want to expand parliament for the young people. But you see, again, that is extremely shallow and narrow-minded because the biggest demographic is of the young people. Women members of parliament who are the same entry point as the young people have 116 representatives in the parliament. The UPDF has over 10 members of parliament.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action. But the young people are the only ones who are told, no, you have to suffer through the electoral colleges. Very unfairly. The final point I can make about this is this, that politics, in my understanding, is about persuasion, preparation, perception. Now, what the NRM party has done is to get themselves deeply ingrained at the youth structures. Political parties haven't organized very, very well
for the youth
to penetrate all these structures. That's why I made a wise decision not to run in the party primaries because of two solid reasons. Number one, the constitution gives me right. Number two, I wasn't persuaded ideologically by any of the political parties. Number three, I thought was an unfair process. My friend has spent I am sure, over 30 million just in the primaries of people who are never going to vote. So for me, as I said earlier on,
you made a wise decision.
It was very wise.
Well, very soon, political leaders or presidential candidates are going to release their manifesto to the public. Joshua, you as a youth leader and an aspiring candidate at that, what would you like to see in this manifesto?
First and foremost, I know everyone would want to say, I want to see a plan, a good plan, employment plan to consume all the graduates coming from universities. Yeah, that is very okay. But for me, there is something that I'm really concerned about.
What could be that?
I want to see, when you look at developed countries, they put a lot of emphasis and efforts on the young people. It's not, I was talking to someone when you released that poster that saying that you will host us here. And someone said, but what do I need from a president? He said, Uganda, it's survival for the fittest. Everyone for himself, God for us all. And I said, wow. And to me, that really pained me. I think I need to see, I see my president, the poster, there's a slogan saying, securing our future. I want to see the future of the young people really secured.
In the manifesto?
In the manifesto.
Okay. Senyonga, in a minute, what would you like to see in the manifestos?
Well, I'll just break it down into just 4 major points. Number one, the question of agriculture, all right, for the young people. How do we secure agribusiness for the young people, especially in the apparent COVID-19 period? Let us come up with creative ways and solutions. One of those is actually the penetration of the telephony, because to the ground for everybody. Number two, the healthcare system. I think we have a healthcare system which wasn't designed to be sustainable. And what I can say that is because we need to focus on priority areas. What I would want the presidential candidates to focus on, number one, the financing of the healthcare system. Number two, the aspect of equipment. Number three, how do we manage the pharmaceuticals, because we import more of the pharmaceuticals. Number three, the point I would make is the aspect of technology. You see, right now, the population, the young population, is extremely exposed to technology. Our teledensity is over 60%.
Oh, yes.
Now, because of that, it comes with very many risks. I would want the presidential candidates to focus, number one, on cybersecurity, number two, a human-based approach, especially with dealing with cybersecurity, so that the likes of the UCC are not actually violating the rights of the citizens.
They become regulators, not controllers.
They become controllers. Well, they are controllers. So we can make that argument another day. The final point that I would make is the question of securing safe spaces for the young people. The first most basic argument is ratify the international laws that, number one, seek to promote governance and political democracy in Uganda in the most practical way, not for purpose of self-aggrandizement. Number two,
practical way.
Yeah, I think the final thing that I can end with that is, for example, how do you secure the safe spaces? Me and my comrade here are going to get into, we're already into the political fray, but a lot of money is being spent.
Oh, yes.
So I would love to see, from a legal perspective, because that's my profession, from the legal perspective, what is the policy approach that the candidates are having for us to manage electoral financing? Number two, to manage especially the security of the young people, some of us who are coming as independents. Because I'll tell you this, we are extremely tense about this whole multi-party democracy, that those who come as independents are seen as, fall players, they're seen as fake people and all these things. But you see, the biggest argument I make is this. At the helm of the age limit debate in the parliament, one of the most crucial agreements was passed concerning the oil sector, which Mr. Museveni seeks to secure in our future. Why? Because on the two divergent sides of the political parties, everybody was focused on, the NRM is focusing on how to lift presidential term limits, opposition is seeking to oppose that. The only people who can offer sobriety in that perspective is independence, because they have no interest, they have no coercion, but what they seek to represent is the future of these young people.
Okay. Well, it's a very good conversation we've had this Saturday morning with those aspiring. So now that he's running independent, you came through the NRM process, you didn't appreciate it. Are you coming as an independent after this?
I'm yet to decide.
You're yet to decide. That is Joshua Kandwanaho Israel from the West, and he just went through the NRM primaries for the youth. And we have Simon Senyonga for Central Youth Member of Parliament very soon. That is all we could have for you. For those who have had the questions online, because of time, I wish I could dive there, but time is not on my side. We'll take a break and we'll be